I thought there's something wrong with my son, or maybe there's something wrong with me. And the teachers, I met with the teachers, met with the principal. Ultimately, the guidance counselor, the principal, the assistant principal told me, you need to put this young child on drugs. And if you don't put them on ADHD medication, we're going to put them in a special classroom in a different school. We're going to ship them over there.
So just going to pause real quick. It wasn't the doctor that told you this.
No.
It was your school.
That's correct.
That told you to medicate your child.
That's right. So I pulled him out. That's when I put him in the private school. Child has never been on drugs. He's never been in a special classroom. He's graduating high school this year with a full ride scholarship to any state school in Florida, thriving and doing amazing. He wants to be a history major. He wants to go to law school. And why? Because I knew what was best for my child. Had I listened to the experts, I would have missed out on the genius that he is.
You know why you know? Because you're the parent.
That's right.
Have you done a lot of interviews yet today?
This is the third.
Okay.
And I have like 10.
How are you holding up?
This isn't
I think this is
for me.
12 for us.
Yeah.
So right now my brain is like, so we just got done with Danica. Danica Patrick just came on.
Oh, okay.
That was very fun.
See, you have to jump from topic to topic. I just
Yes,
get to
ma'am.
talk about the same thing all the time, which is what I love. So
This will be great. No, I absolutely love it because the beautiful thing is, like, I had so many last-minute opportunities that I actually didn't do tons of research with each guest as much as I normally do.
Yeah,
so it's been awesome because
right?
all day I've been learning fresh.
Yeah, good.
Exactly what people do. Perfect. So I'll introduce yourself. We'll go from there.
All right, so I'm Erika Donalds. I am here on behalf of Leadership Institute as guest faculty for their school board member programs because I'm a former school board member in the state of Florida. I've actually been working on school choice policy for about 15 years now and very excited about the Trump administration because he's going to be the school choice president. As you know, I'm from the state of Florida and we are the school choice state, so I've been working on not just the policy to help expand school choice, but through my own company, Optima Ed, we've opened multiple charter schools, the world's first virtual reality school and curriculum. Very passionate about classical education, where a lot of the charter schools that I've helped to open are classical in nature. So I came through all of this because I'm a mom of 3 boys. I mean, that's my number one title. Wife to Byron and mom to Damon, Darren, and Mason. And I discovered the school choice when I needed it for my own children, like a lot of other parents.
So for those that don't know what school, my dad's actually a Christian school principal.
Awesome.
So when I saw the bio, I'm like, yeah, we need to talk because we're going to be passionate about the same exact things. But for those that don't know what school choice is, when you hear school choice, could you mind explaining that a little bit in more detail?
Absolutely. It's really about empowering parents to have options outside of their local zoned public school. We have a public school monopoly in this country. About 90% of the students in the country attend their zoned public school by geographic assignment, and a lot of times those schools are performing according to the income levels of the students that are assigned to them. But what I envision for school choice is that every family is going to have the agency, both in funding and ability to get their child to the school of their choice, to customize the student's education. And that may mean taking those funds to a private school, a charter school, or maybe a public school, or homeschooling, or some combination of it. I think that when we bring a free market into education and allow free market principles to really work, you will have better access, better quality, and parents will have multiple options for every one of their children to determine how their students will learn that meets their specific needs.
So I know Vivek Ramaswamy's talked about getting rid of the Department of Education, and then he talked about it, and then Elon's talked about it, and then is the Department of Education what's holding this up, right? Like holding this from happening, or is this going to be a states thing? Is this a federal thing? Because I know Florida has school choice right now, right? It's getting there, right?
We have some school choice, yes, and it's all relative, right? More school choice than most other states.
Gotcha. So then what's the next step for this vision to happen? Is it to get rid of Department of Education and give it all to the states? Or is there going to be more of is your vision more of a federal, like this is the way we do things in America now?
Well, I agree with both Vivek, Elon, and most importantly, Donald Trump, who said multiple times on the campaign trail that he wanted to get rid of the Department of Education, as other Republicans have said. But I believe that our president is going to make this happen because he keeps his promises when he gets elected. So I think it's not the only thing holding us back, though. States really drive the majority of education policy and funding. And that's why we've seen states like Florida, Arizona, and others pass universal choice, and that in the form of education scholarship accounts. And that gives every parent the funds that would otherwise go to their public school, and they can spend it either on tuition or some combination of educational services. So that's driven by the states. When we talk about getting rid of the Department of Education, it's getting rid of the bureaucracy that is pushing down a lot of compliance-related things onto the states and local schools.
Okay.
It's spending a lot of money that really doesn't reach the kids that it's supposed to help. Title I funds for low-income students, IDEA funds for students with disabilities. And what I heard as a school board member and what I hear as a mom from my friends is they don't see the benefit of those funds.
Right.
But if we're able to put those funds in the hands of parents and let parents decide, hey, my child needs more help in math, I'm going to get them a tutor. My child needs more special services for speech or for reading. Let the parents drive that, and if they decide to give it to their local school, let them do that as well. But it really should be up to the parents, who are the people who care the most about their children.
So everything you said, I'm like, yes, this is awesome, yes. So then what's the pushback? Like, why are there people that disagree with this? Like, why isn't this happening?
Well, number one is the teachers' unions. And when I was a school board member, I was their number one enemy on that board because I don't believe in teachers' unions. I don't think that we should be battling a behemoth like that who really stands for the rights of adults and not for the rights of students and families and what they really need. So unfortunately, the teachers' union has been a huge barrier to reform in education. They also have a monopoly on where teachers can teach. And so one of the things that my Optima Foundation is doing through our Start a School initiative is empowering educators who want to start their own schools with the resources to do so. You know, I've met so many teachers who want to teach how they believe is best for students. They have something to offer, but they're hogtied in the classrooms. And so we give them checklists and templates and how to get public funding, how to get started, how to market their school so that they can go from their dream of opening a school to actually making it happen, especially using these new ESA accounts that parents have access to. So it's all about really not just empowering parents like we've been talking about with school choice, empowering educators as well to get out of the monopoly and be able to do what they really do best, which is meet the needs of students, not follow some rigid, format that they know is not serving students well.
Gotcha. You said a phrase that I wanted to go back to. You said that people, parents, and teachers don't see the money that they say they're supposed to be getting.
That's right.
And I think a lot of times, because you said hogtied, those funds are hogtied. I'll give you an example for those listening. If you're like, I don't know if she saw, this is true. My dad's a private school principal. They recently chartered. So they have some state funds, but they're still actually able to completely, currently in Ohio, it's Ohio, they're able to completely just do everything as they want to. But they'll get these grants, and it's like, this is for technology, or this is for desks. But then the desks that they could buy have to be a very specific type of desk.
That's right.
With a little hole drilled in the middle, but it has to be the most expensive desk, and it doesn't make any sense. He's like, well, if you're gonna give me 20 grand, why can't I just have 20 grand to use what we have? And this is happening everywhere. So,
that's right.
So the concept is, those funds that are going to public schools, if each kind of school would have more of an opportunity to spend the funds as they want to, we'd be better off.
Absolutely. All of these top-down regulations, it doesn't matter if it's education or healthcare or other things, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Bureaucrats in Washington, D.C. do not care about you or me individually, right? They are a part of the blob. And so the regulations, what kind of desk that we should buy, doesn't have in mind what your specific needs are or what my children's needs are. Who should make that decision? Either me as the parent, or if I entrust a teacher or a principal like your father to do that, let them make that decision because I believe they are looking at my individual child and saying, what does this child need? That desk, give me a break, right? But who do you think put that rule into that grant? Some lobbyist who works for that desk company or whatever special interest that says, if we can get them to tie this requirement to this grant, then we'll be able to sell more desks. Has nothing to do with student performance and what's best for kids.
So how does school choice affect teacher salary?
Let's think about what monopolies do, right? They limit prices. I would say instead of talking about how school choice affects student salaries, let's talk about teachers' unions. Because teachers' unions require that every teacher, no matter how they perform, teaches the same number of students, the same number of classes for the same number of hours in the same way and gets paid the same, no matter what subject it is. So if I'm a physics teacher, who obviously requires a lot more training, a lot more skill
than history or whatever, right.
Art teacher or whatever in elementary school, I'm getting paid the same amount and I have the same restrictions. What if, as a physics teacher who's very highly skilled, I want to teach more of a lecture style class? Because a year from now, my high school students are going to be in a lecture style class anyway in college. And so if I'm teaching 100 students instead of 25, what if I were able to be paid more? Because the parent says, you know what, this is the best physics teacher in the state. I want my child to be one of those 100 instead of one of the 25 and the physics teacher that doesn't do a good job. Why shouldn't that teacher that has more demand, that can handle more students and do a better job, get paid more? Teachers' unions don't allow it. But if he could go off on his own, didn't need a certificate, didn't need to be accredited, didn't need all of this ridiculousness, but by reputation and results could have that one class that he teaches outside of whatever other career he has, he could make more as a teacher. But we don't allow for that innovation. We don't allow for that creativity and that flexibility for teachers to be able to actually hone their craft and do what innovations would be allowed in other industries.
Yeah, it makes you kind of wonder, like, how many kids would be better off. I mean, how many adults now, they were forced in some school system that happened to be sucky because of where their parents could afford to live.
That's right.
And the kid had an unbelievably bright future, but the kid was shoved into this school because he had no option. I'm like, how many geniuses have we missed out on because that kid hasn't been able to practice, like, learn in the style that he needs to learn? I mean, it makes you kind of, like, it just puts in perspective what you're talking about.
I'm going to leave you with the story, my own story of how I really got into this. My son, he was in kindergarten. It's my second son, and he was struggling in school. My oldest was easy, did a great job. Same school, same family, both boys. You'd think that they would be the same, but they weren't.
Yeah.
And I couldn't figure out what was wrong, and I thought there's something wrong with my son, or maybe there's something wrong with me. And the teachers, I met with the teachers, met with the principal. Ultimately, the guidance counselor, the principal, the assistant principal told me, you need to put this young child on drugs. And if you don't put them on ADHD medication, we're going to put him in a special classroom in a different school. We're going to ship him over there.
So just pause real quick. It wasn't the doctor that told you this.
No.
It was your school.
That's correct.
That told you to medicate your child.
That's right.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
If I didn't medicate him, that they were going to take him out of the school I chose to live in that district and put him in a different school. So, of course, I knew that wasn't the right thing to do. So I pulled him out. That's when I put him in the private school. Child has never been on drugs. He's never been in a special classroom. He's graduating high school this year with a full ride scholarship to any state school in Florida. Thriving and doing amazing. He wants to be a history major. He wants to go to law school. And why? Because I knew what was best for my child. Had I listened to the experts, I would have missed out on the genius that he is.
You know why you know? Because you're the parent.
That's right. But it's unfortunate because not all parents have that same contrarian nature as I do, and that's why I'm in this. I'm fighting for all the Darrens out there and all the parents of the Darrens out there who feel like they're up against a wall. They don't have any option, and they are listening to the experts about what's wrong with their child when it's really not their child. It's the system.
Yeah.
And so we have to break that monopoly, and we have to give those parents an out.
Man, that's awesome. I mean, it's just one of those situations where, like, so I lead youth group at our church, and I tell the parents all the time, it's like, we aren't parenting your child. We're coming alongside you guys to assist you. Parents need to take ownership, and I think that's one thing we haven't talked about, is for this to also work, parents need to step up. A lot of parents in the public school systems, and I know this because I grew up in like as a Christian principal, send their kids off. They don't have control or as much as they need, and I think this would be really good for America to have parents way more in tune to their children, way more in tune to their learning opportunities for their children. So it's not only do we need the Department of Education to go to way, we actually need parents to step up.
It's true, and my husband and I were youth leaders for 19 years.
Wow.
Okay,
I'm on year 6.
Yeah. So we're there with you, with the teenagers. People thought we were crazy working with teenagers, but we loved it. We had a wonderful time as youth leaders, so God bless you for that.
Thank you.
But the parents have been getting the message from the school district that they should not be involved because they're not experts. Leave it to the experts. Drop them off. Don't help us. We're not giving the students homework anymore because we don't want the parents to be involved in that. So they're getting the wrong message from the people who have been renowned as experts for many years. So we have to send them a different message. It's what we do at the Leadership Institute, where we train parents, empower them to get involved in their local school district, maybe run for school board. So it's a message that we as conservatives have to send to parents that don't listen to the experts, don't listen to the monopoly, because you do have the power. Even if you are sending your child to a public school, you still are the primary educator of your children. You're in charge of making them productive
citizens. It's empowering
citizens.
parents. That they even the fact that they can do it. Because a lot of parents are, I mean, listen, I have a lot of friends that are struggling with their kids. And a lot of times parents are like, help me. Someone help me.
Right.
And so they go listen to this public school to say your kid needs ADHD medication. and they're like, okay, I guess they know, and what you're doing is so
and
special.
it's really just making it easier for the school or for the teacher, not what's best for the student.
Right.
So we definitely need to empower parents. Send an opposite message, because they've only been getting one message, and that is that they don't know what they're doing, and they need to leave it to these supposed experts. So when we expand school choice and we continue to empower parents, we're sending them that message. No, you get to pick. You get to choose. You can choose your local school, but you can also choose a private school.
But isn't that how America's supposed to be anyway?
Absolutely.
Right?
Free market and capitalism
Like,
is
look
in
what
every other
Obamacare
area
did.
of our lives, except healthcare and education, which are the worst
but it
performing
used-
areas, right?
Right.
So we need a free market in education.
You're getting me fired up.
Good. I'm fired up.
Yeah, I am too. I'm already starting
Let's do it.
That's awesome. So where can people follow you? How can they follow you? How can they help?
At Erika Donalds on all social media, Erika with a K, no C. So definitely connect with me on social media. Very active on X with all of the education things that are going on. And certainly when it comes to the Trump administration, I'm going to be following that really closely. I also do a lot of writing and commentaries about school choice and what's going on in education reform. So stay tuned. We're going to be doing a lot of things.
Well, thank you for coming on. I know you have a million things to do, so I don't want to keep you the whole time, but thank you so much. It was a pleasure meeting you. I feel like we could talk about this for an hour. But
I'll come back then.
We'll do it another time. Well, 2025. We'll make something happen.
Thank you so much.
But thank you so much for coming on the show. Guys, follow her, and appreciate you guys checking in. Thank you.